What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Season 5, Episode 14 of Hit the Books, the podcast all about sports betting, the best bets you should be taking in everything surrounding sports. This week, we are into Week 15 of the NFL season. We got a little recap of last week. Jumping over to the NHL, we have our power rankings, NBA power rankings, college football. The playoffs are here. We had our conference championships last weekend, and next weekend is the first round of the playoffs, so we will go over the bracket. And some other things, and some moves happening in the MLB here this past week that we want to touch on. But let's introduce my co-host here with me this week, Huff. Huff, what do you got for us here coming into Week 15 in the NFL?
Yeah, great week. Week 14 in the NFL for me, hitting 3 first touchdowns on the card. A hell of a week. Really took off my record in units for the year. Love to see that. Jahmyr Gibbs, Kareem Hunt, Amari, and Hampton, the 3 running backs getting in on pay dirt, all first. Or the one of them, Kareem Hunt, hit the first team. Did avoid the first touchdown. Amari and Hampton hit first, but I did have the first team there. But a hell of a weekend in the NFL. Looking to keep things going this week. Steelers coming off a huge win in Baltimore. That's looking like, everyone's back on the Steelers, 7-6, leading the division. They got a tough matchup this week. Not too tough, but I'm not overestimating these Dolphins. In the prime time on Monday night, it should be a cold one. We know how the Dolphins play in the cold, but we'll get into that in a little bit.
Heck yeah, lots to look forward to here as we get into Week 15 of the NFL. Let's jump over the college football road here. Like I said, the past weekend we had our championship Saturday. We saw the following teams win their respective conferences. Georgia defeating Alabama in the SEC, Indiana defeating Ohio State in the Big Ten, Texas Tech defeating BYU in the Big 12, and Duke defeating Virginia in the ACC. Huff, which conference championship champion looked the best on Saturday with these playoffs here coming up here this weekend or next weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. We had some good games. There was Texas Tech, BYU was really the only blowout. I know Georgia, Alabama got kind of ugly. Alabama didn't have a rushing yard, and that's who I'm going to say looked the best on Saturday, Georgia. I think a lot of people were picking Alabama, Kirby Smart against Alabama. I was all over Georgia in that game. I think Georgia is going to win the national title game. I think that defense is scary. I think Gunnar Stockton's starting to look really good under this offense with Kirby Smart. Georgia, when they're buzzing, they're always the best team, at least of the past couple of years. Alabama stood no chance in that game. I just don't think Kalen DeBoer, people are still giving Alabama the same tendencies and trends that are so Nick Saban, heavily skewed. I'm not big on this Alabama team, or at least this rendition of it, led by Kalen DeBoer. Georgia looked great on Saturday, looked better than Indiana did in taking down the number 1 team in the nation, the team that everyone picked to be even better than last year's Ohio State team. Is this team even better? Whatever it might be, Indiana wins the Big Ten. I think Indiana just was ready to play in that game. Indiana matches up very well against Ohio State. Ohio State's defense is scary. They didn't let up too many points, but Indiana took what Ohio State's defense was giving them. They were running the ball, moving the ball downfield, and Mendoza came up and stepped up in the biggest moments. A 30-yard pass with the game on the line gets the Hoosiers the first down and ices that game. But I'm going to say Georgia looked the best on Saturday.
Okay, I think that's a good one. Definitely want to look into some of these games. We'll definitely touch on them more here next week on some of these odds and stuff. I know the odds and stuff are out, but do you want to go over national championship winner?
Yeah, if you have odds for it.
Yeah, Ohio State leading the board here at plus 225, Indiana behind them at plus 275, Georgia at plus 500, Oregon at plus 800, Texas Tech at plus 900, Texas A&M at 17-1, Miami at 2,200, Alabama at 2,500, Ole Miss at 2,500, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I like Georgia. I think Georgia is the easiest route to the semifinal. They get the winner of Tulane or Ole Miss. Ole Miss, obviously, we know what's going on there. No Lane Kiffin. What's that team going to look like without their head coach? Are they going to look motivated to come out and win? Is they going to look like a different team because, Lane Kiffin's what got them there in this spot? Are they really the 6th best team? The committee can penalize teams for having coaching issues going into the playoff. They didn't with Ole Miss, but they get a weak quote-unquote G5 matchup with Tulane in the first round. So Georgia gets a winner of that game. I think Georgia's in the semifinals. They'll defeat probably Ole Miss is going to win that game. I think Georgia takes down Ole Miss there. Georgia's probably going to face Ohio State in that semifinal game, and I think the SEC little brothers, the Big Ten there. I know of recent years it's been opposite ways. I just don't think this Ohio State's team is as good as everyone thinks. I'm not big on Julian Sand. I think Ohio State's going to drop one in the semifinal, sending Georgia to the national championship to take on Indiana. Those are the two teams I have in the national championship, but I think the Cinderella story will stop for my guy Signetti in the national championship. I think Georgia's going to be too much to handle. I like them plus 500.
Heck yeah. Good odds there. Lots to look forward to here as we gear closer to those games here starting next weekend, as well as all the bowl games starting next week. Let's jump over to the MLB here. A couple signings happening in this offseason, starting out with Kyle Schwarber in the Phillies. Agreed to a 5-year, $150 million deal to keep the power bat in Philly for what seems to be through the end of his career. Huff, what do you think? Do you like this signing? Do you think the Pirates were ever actually in the conversations with Schwarber?
No.
I know there was scuttlebutt and stuff, but yeah, go ahead.
I don't think so. So I heard there's a couple of reports going around that MLB insiders are thinking teams are using like big market teams are using teams like the Pirates, the Royals, the small market teams. I am blanking for another the Brewers, who are a good team but considered small market in that same kind of area as the Pirates and some of those other small market teams, the Rockies. So supposedly these big market teams are using the smaller market teams to hey, be interested in Kyle Schwarber, see what you pay him, see what kind of contract you give him. It basically just sets the baseline, and then teams like the Phillies, Yankees, Mets, Dodgers are like, okay, the Pirates are going to give you 5 years, 150. How about 5 years or 6 years, 170, and we call it a deal. And you get the extra year, you get the extra 20 million. Everyone's happy. You're playing for a contender. You're making more money. The Pirates were never going to offer you that in the first place. But my thing with the Pirates is, we've supposedly now missed out on Josh Naylor. Don't believe that one. Missed out on Schwarber. Don't believe that one. There was talks there in the Pete Alonso conversation. We'll get into that next. All this tells me is that we have the money to spend, and they just are trying to like hit a home run in free agency and bring in a guy that's going to sell jerseys and bring in put people in the seats. Like if you sign a Kyle Schwarber, I mean half of Pittsburgh I think immediately would go buy his jersey. Be very excited to see a power bat like him paired up with the pitching staff that we have and the issues that we've had been able to produce runs, but I don't think they need to go out and get one star. This team isn't one star bat away from contending. I'd rather see them spend that 150 million, 120 million, whatever the offer was, on 3 guys. I'm not saying go buy 10 guys for $1 million a piece or whatever it is and get a bunch of bums. Like I don't think we need one huge bat this offseason. I think it's build your more cornerstone positions that you need. Bring in a guy making 20 million a year. Bring in a guy making just lower deals. Like you're not going to have Skeens for longer than 2 seasons. I'd be looking for all the guys that want 2-3 year deals to come in here and say, hey, we're not trading this guy till the end of it. He's probably going to leave here as a free agent. We're going to let him walk unless we get an offer we can't refuse. Do you want to play with the best pitcher in baseball at this time? Give him run support. I think sooner or later they'd be able to get guys. It's just the money they're throwing at them isn't comparable to what these other teams offer.
Yeah. The deals just definitely don't even come across the table. They're so low,
no,
in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like what you said about
and like Ketel Marte is another one that they're after, and supposedly we're like one of 2 teams on his no trade list.
That's hilarious.
Pirates, I guess you can get around that. They can try to be like, all right, well, we'll just totally redo your deal. You're making $12 million a year. How about $22 million a year? We'll just give you an extra $10 million a year. Does that take us off your no trade list? Like, I guess the one guy said like they can just straight up do that. I didn't know the MLB could do that.
Well, let's jump into this next one here. Pete Alonso and the Baltimore Orioles in an agreement on a 5-year, $155 million deal to bring Alonso to the AL East and help the young Orioles team that struggled in 2025. Could this be a piece that helps the Orioles get back to their form or a few years ago in 2024 and a contender in the AL East? I feel like this is a very weird move.
Yeah, I thought it was very weird. You're already in the big market with the Mets. Obviously, we saw Edwin Diaz go to the Dodgers the night before. That's one we don't have listed here, but Edwin Diaz, the Mets, all-star closer, hell of a closer, just took $300 million to go to the Dodgers, or something close to it. Might as well have been 130. I don't know what it was over 3 years, but yeah, everyone's going to the Dodgers. Everyone's leaving the Mets. I don't know what's going on with Mackey's Mets. Last year, they spent $700 million on Soto and another $250 million elsewhere. Now guys are leaving left and right. Alonso leaving to go from New York to Baltimore. I don't know what the money he was making in New York is. I just can't think the money came into play here. You're already playing for the Mets. You easily could have got this contract in New York. I don't know if there was like bad blood between him and the Mets, but from what Mackey was saying, it seemed like Mets fans and the fan base wanted him to stay. He's a Met legend. He's been there his whole career. He's won, obviously, he's known for the home run derbies, and he's fun to watch. Like when he's hitting the huge home runs, he's hit them in big games for them before, and I was shocked to see him leave.
Yeah, I don't know much about the baseball, but it seems like a really odd deal to go from that market to that
Usually
market.
it's the other way around. Yeah, you go from the Orioles to the Mets.
Right. So interesting to say the least, but I think that's everything we got in the MLB here. Let's jump over to the NBA here. We just got our power rankings here for this week. Coming in at number 5, we have the Denver Nuggets. Number 4, the New York Knicks. Number 3, the Detroit Pistons. Number 2, the Los Angeles Lakers. And number 1, the Oklahoma City Thunder. What are your thoughts on these Huff coming into this week?
Yeah, Oklahoma City sitting at 23-1. They're 16-point favorites tonight. They're probably going to win another one. Get to 24-1. We're seriously on the 73-9 Golden State Warriors record watch. I think this team is going to get upwards of maybe 75, 76 wins. Their schedule is insane. Me and my buddy were looking at it at work today. There's only maybe a couple games in the next couple months I could see them lose. One against a healthy Timberwolves team, healthy Rockets, healthy Lakers, but those are all teams that are contenders anyway. I think this Thunder team is, unreal, and they're starting to rest guys. They still look the same. The Lakers
wild.
are obviously very fun to watch. It's, they're sitting at 17-6. LeBron, Luka, they're starting to get things going over there in LA land over there for the Lakers. Nuggets are still sitting right there, a team that is in our top 5. I thought they weren't. It's the Rockets that got edged out, who I think are still very good. Mackey's Knicks starting to surge for the past couple of weeks, as they're on a 4-game heater, winning 8 of their last 10. So the Knicks make their way into that top 5. But I think a solid top 5 in the NBA. Couple teams still sticking around. The Spurs, Aces, Celtics looking good without Tatum. Orlando Magic are a fun team to watch. And then obviously the Timberwolves with Anthony Edwards. So it's been a good start to the NBA season. But yeah, the main story right now in the NBA is how many regular season wins is this Thunder team going to get?
Heck yeah, we'll definitely keep tabs on that. See how close they get to that Bulls Warriors record. There. How far through the season are we?
20. What did I say there? 23-1.
Yeah, so 24. So
24
quarter
games
of the way.
they're playing tonight.
Or sorry,
25. So they're like basically a third of the way through.
Yeah. All right.
It's 82, but 75 would be.
Yeah, fair enough. Alrighty, lots of good stuff there out of the the NBA. Let's jump over to the NHL here. Let's jump into our power rankings here before we have a little bit of news about the Olympics here coming up in February. Coming in at number 5 for our power rankings is the Vegas Golden Knights. Number 4, the Washington Capitals. Number 3, the Carolina Hurricanes. Number 2, the Dallas Stars. And number 1, the Colorado Avalanche. Huff, what are you thinking about these teams coming in? Our Penguins sliding off a little bit, getting all those overtime points, but what are you thinking?
Yeah, they continue to lose games in overtime, sitting at 14-7-7. That's actually a pretty impressive record. That we have as many overtime losses as regulation losses, but getting the points last night was tough against Anaheim. Anaheim scores with 0.1 left to send it to overtime, and then we lose in the shootout. I'm convinced we're the worst team in a shootout I've ever seen in my entire lifetime. Not even this season. I just feel like since 2000, I'd love to see how many games the Penguins have won in a shootout, because I feel like every time we get there, we lose. But let's talk this top 5. It's the Avalanche and everyone else. They're still 21-2-7, 49 points. I know that Dallas is sitting right there with them. I think Colorado is a lot better than Dallas, but Dallas is starting to get their edge. The Penguins just beat them. That was a big win for us there. But they're 21-5-5 as well, 47 points. It's really those two, and then everyone else I should have said, but I think Colorado is head and shoulders above everyone else. But a Washington Capitals team that's been surging the past few weeks. Anaheim's still sitting right there in that hunt, who the Penguins just lost to that I talked about. Carolina, Vegas, teams that you'll see in the picture, late April, early May in the playoffs.
The Penguins are 90-166 in shootouts since 2000.
I believe that. Yeah, I would say yeah. I feel, what's that? Do we lose 1 out of, or we lose 2 out of 3?
Yeah, give or take. Yeah, I'd take that with a grain of salt, because I think it doesn't go back that far. Some of this data, but even
I'd say that's pretty
50%.
accurate. I feel like we lose 2 out of 3 shootouts I watch.
Yeah. Jeez. Well, hopefully the Pens can pick it up. We've got some good stuff out of the NHL here. Like I said, Olympics coming up in February. Lots of talk about these players heading over. They got the approval, 2 years ago now or whatever. But the NHL Deputy Commissioner Bill Daley warned that if the Olympic ice in Milan isn't safe, NHL players will not participate in the 2026 games. He said rink issues aren't insurmountable, but player safety is non-negotiable, which is why the league is sending their own ice expert to assist. The bigger concern is also timing. The new arena isn't scheduled for completion until February 2nd, 2026, with the women's tournament starting just 3 days later, and the men's tournament featuring the NHL players beginning on February 11th. So there's no room for error. Apparently, I heard rumors that the ice surface is not going to be Olympic sized. It's going to be NHL sized.
They said it's
I heard
like
that
3 feet smaller than NHL
I
size.
I heard that it could even be smaller. But I mean, that's just about you take out 2 rows of seats and you got NHL size.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I hate to say it, but so I don't know.
That's what the Olympic Committee needs to do. Like, okay, you either take out these 2 rows of seats, or we
Yeah.
just don't do this. You guys make the decision.
And then I heard rumors that they're going to try to do it in the U.S., which, in my opinion, is not going to happen. It's just not going to magically just move to the U.S. I think the NHL players wouldn't play before that
I just
happened.
feel like they only have that's the only place they'd be able to pick up and go and make it happen.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. So definitely a weird one. Definitely doesn't make any sense across the board of how much money is involved in these projects and how.
My favorite part of the Olympic ice hockey is the bigger ice. I like watching those good players skate on that much open ice.
Yeah, it's cool. And sadly, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to see that. So definitely we'll keep tabs on that, see what happens with the ice and stuff. Anything else on that, Huff?
No, I saw that too. It's either going to be smaller. The players are going to be able to make a decision on what they want to do, if they want to play the games or not. It could be messy come February when this stuff's going on.
Alrighty, and let's jump over to the NFL here. Our first point before we get into our power rankings and a little bit of week 15 games. Our first point here. The Indianapolis Colts have signed 44-year-old veteran quarterback Phillip Rivers to their practice squad. Rivers has not played since 2020. Do you think this will help save the Colts' dying season here as of the last few weeks? Ace, what are you thinking about this one?
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to necessarily save their dying season. I do think they're going to still get into a playoff spot with the roster that they have. I mean, but how crazy is this? The 44-year-old just comes off the shelf and he's ready to go. I mean, that shows you how much confidence they have in Riley Leonard. I know Anthony Richardson isn't healthy to get them there, but he's played for this team before. He likes the coaching staff, and he said, I get some bonus football left in my career. I'm just eager to see if he can take a hit and if he can move around in that pocket. But with that veteran savvy that he brings to the table, with the receiving core he has, Jonathan Taylor, a decent defense, a good old line, I mean, I think they still find their way to the playoffs. I'd be eager to see if he can grab a win right away.
End the season.
Who's their final few games?
They still play the Texans. They still play in Seattle this weekend. I think that's 2 losses right there. Let me see. Colts.
That's one thing I was worried about is Phillip Rivers coming off the shelf and he's going to get chased around by Daniel Hunter and
here's their
Will
game.
Anderson Jr.
They have 3 games left. What? How do they only have 3 games left?
Yeah, they're at 14 now. 13, 14.
Have they already? How many games have they played? They're 8-3,
8-3, 8-4, 8-4.
8-6.
No way, they're 8-6. Probably 8-5 now.
They still play. Okay, they play at the Colts. Or at the Seahawks. Colts at Seahawks this week. Home against the Jags. And at Houston.
I mean, he can't be worse than Riley Leonard. How much worse is he than Daniel Jones in that offense?
A lot worse than Daniel Jones. A healthy Daniel Jones.
Was Daniel Jones even that good, or was he just a proprietor of
Dude,
the
when at the beginning
system?
of the season, he was like a big part of why they were winning
was
games.
it the system?
But like he's a system quarterback. No one's saying he's like a fucking elite franchise quarterback. That's what I was saying when I said they were going to be. When I said the Colts are going to be a pesky fringe playoff team this year, I didn't think it was going to happen this way. I thought it was going to be kind of the other way. But like I've pictured Daniel Jones contributing to that offense, running the ball like
Sam Darnold last year.
Warren Taylor and Daniel Jones. When Daniel Jones is like your third threat on, I guess they still have Pittman, Pierce, like. They have weapons on offense. That offensive line is kind of it was very good a couple years ago. It's kind of aging out. It's still good. They're always hurt. So I don't really know what to think of that. They've had a good year this year. So, I mean, Jonathan Taylor's having a hell of a year. So the offensive line is doing their job. But I don't know. I think Daniel Jones, I'm bigger on Daniel Jones than you and Mackie are. Like, I'm not saying I'm big on him, but like, I do think he got a bad rap in that Giants.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, MetLife Stadium brings out the worst in any
There's too
QB.
many clips of him with bad plays. Like him tripping over his own feet on a 70-yard touchdown run and not scoring. I'm talking that game for the Giants where he just literally fell over his own feet.
That's what I'm saying. It's not his fault that he looked bad in New York. That's just a bad system.
Exactly.
I think he is above
he won
average.
A playoff game there.
Yeah, I will say he's above average. I'll give you that. I think he was playing out of his mind. I think he might have already peaked. I don't know if he can even come back and play that well. But
like put it this way, I think he went to a perfect team for him, kind of like the Vikings was. If he would have got his chance with the Vikings, I think he would have done good there too.
Yeah, he's got to be in the right system.
Yeah,
and you have Jonathan Taylor takes a lot of pressure off. That's what's going to help.
If he goes to the Dolphins, he's irrelevant.
Yeah. One thing to think about, though, is Phil Rivers probably saw Joe Flacco still slinging the ball around like we're 15 years old again, watching him do that. And now we get Phil Rivers to step in and do the same thing. I mean, I saw the clips of him throwing today. He's got that crazy arm angle right back to it. I think his oldest son is as old as Riley Leonard. So I'd feel much more confident with Philip Rivers jumping into the mix here than I would with Riley Leonard going down the stretch, that veteran presence. And maybe it gives a spark to your team because those Colts were probably feeling dead when they lost Daniel Jones. Now it's like, all right, we got Philip Rivers. I mean, let's see what we can do here. And it's going to be tough. That rest of that schedule, like you said, that's a tough matchups, but I think they're going to clinch the playoffs. Philip Rivers will get them there. I could see him win 1, maybe 2 games here down the stretch.
Ugh, I don't think it's going to be good for them. I like this Colts team, and I think this is a crazy move. I cannot even believe this is who they went to.
Would you rather have him or Riley Leonard?
I mean,
Leonard looked horrible.
yeah, I don't know. At this
You
point,
want to hear a crazy stat? Michael Pittman Jr.
is it
averaged
crazy
over...
for them to say, like, fuck it, we got fucked, like, our season's over?
Yeah, it is. Because I think how often are they in this spot? They haven't been in a long, long time. I mean, it would have been nicer if they got Andrew Luck to come out of retirement, who's only
That's
in
what I
his
mean. They would have
mid-30s.
been better off with Andrew Luck.
No, but he's not. He hasn't been in football shape. At least Philip Rivers still been slinging it. He was working out with Drake May.
Andrew Luck's built like a...
Yeah,
like,
he put all his football
so
weight
much
off.
weight, and he was not big to begin with.
He's playing like a Stanford guy. That's what he's built like now. But Philip Rivers, he was just working out with Drake May last year in the combine. He was out passing May leading up to that too. So, he's been slinging. He's been coaching high school football. He loves the game. And the guy that's been hungry, he's never really gotten to that big moment. So why not take that chance to see what you can do? I don't think there's too much more out there. That's the other thing, Hoff. Like, who else are you going after? You bringing back Cam Newton? Like, no.
Yeah, I mean, believe me, there's not many options out there, but like,
all you got to do is hand the ball to Jonathan Taylor and hit your passes to Tyler Warren, Michael Pittman, who averaged over 75.5 receiving yards per game with Philip Rivers as a quarterback. Those options we were talking about, there's a lot there. And he just got to be smart with the football. That's the big thing he brings to the table. I think it's not a bad move. It's much better than inexperienced or washed up guys who were never really that good. Give me the upside of Philip Rivers. I mean, we know it could be bad, but it can't be much worse than Riley Leonard.
Yeah.
Be fun to watch, though. I'm hyped to see it.
Definitely an interesting ad for the Colts here. We'll have to keep tabs on them and see what's going on with this their record. Just
big underdogs in Seattle this weekend.
Are
tough
they?
Schedule for Philip Rivers, though. Damn.
NFL.com says their current playoff probability is 27%, but if they win, it goes up to 52%.
Terrible first game for him to come into if he starts this game.
The 12th man. I mean, hey, that's why you bring the veteran in, though. You think Riley Leonard would survive that? No.
That would be like 43-3 Seahawks.
Yeah, the game manager. That's all you got to do, Phil. Let's see it.
And the 3 for the Colts would come on a defensive interception
Field
that
goal.
they ran back to like the 10, go 3 and out, and just kick it.
And Jonathan Taylor, remember people talking about MVP, Offensive Player of the Year. Now's your chance to show that you're that guy. If you can really bring your team to the playoffs, I think you can lock up that award.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's move on to our power rankings here for this week. Coming in at number 5, the Los Angeles Chargers. Number 4, the Green Bay Packers. Number 3, the Denver Broncos. Number 2, the New England Patriots. And number 1, the Los Angeles Rams. What do we think about our power rankings here coming into week 15?
Those Patriots are getting snubbed, but I'll take it. That's all right. You can knock them down as much as you want. I mean,
it's literally however you want to look at it. Most people think the Rams. Most people think the Rams are the best roster. The Patriots have the longest winning streak. It's just kind of however you want to spin it. But the best team in the AFC, best team in the NFC, however you want to go with it. I think the Rams with Stafford, with the way Nakua, Adams are going, that offense is so fun to watch. I love watching them every week.
The turnover bug
I was going to say, the past few weeks it's been kind of weird, but the week before it was Adams with the 2 touchdowns. Last week it's Nakua. One of them goes crazy every week.
What about the emergence of Blake Corum too to play alongside Kyren Williams?
I was going to say you hit on that. You hit on that on Sunday. That was a good bet. I didn't really expect them to use him much. I mean, I think Kyren didn't even get in. Corum got 2. Parkinson got 1. Nakua got 1. Maybe Kyren did get in too. I think he had 3 rushing touchdowns.
They were splitting reps. It was like every other drive. And we knew that McVay loved Corum coming out of college. Like, he was great in college too. So we knew he was going to jump on the scene at some point. And I think that injury a few weeks back to Kyren, my theory is that they're resting Kyren Williams towards the playoffs, kind of like they did with Todd Gurley back in their Super Bowl run in the past, if you remember that. But also, it could just be Corum taking on more. He's been explosive. Fresh legs are always a good thing. You have a 2-headed punch going in the playoffs. Why not do it? Keep guys fresh.
Yeah.
And they give you different looks. That Rams team's tough, though. They just had an easy matchup with the Cardinals last week, so we'll have to see how they fare down the stretch. I think the team that's getting snubbed, a lot of people would say the Broncos. We have them too low and we're disrespecting them, but they've had some weird games. I think the one that's being disrespected is those Seattle Seahawks. We haven't talked about the San Francisco 49ers. How good is that NFC West?
I was going to say how good are how good are the Chargers? I think the Chargers are kind of the surprise team, like mostly
We
Herbert.
got him in there, though. We got him in.
He looked he just kind of did whatever it took in that Monday night game against the Eagles. I mean, that was a crazy game with all the turnovers. Say
Yeah, that was a weird
without
game.
Will. It was just one of those games when stuff like that starts to hit the fan, and there's two freak turnovers. I feel like they just kind of come in bunches. So like when that kind of happens, your both teams are going to get in on the fun, throw a couple risky picks, whatever it happens. But it felt like every drive there was interceptions or fumbles in that game. But the Chargers were eking that one out. If they had the offensive
field
line
goals
help,
by Cameron Dicker.
yeah, he's awesome. No one talks about him in the kicker conversation. He's great. The Chargers, their schedule to end the year is interesting though. They're sitting here at 9-4, sitting at the 5 seed right now, the top wild card. If it ended today, their weekend coming up is in Kansas City,
crazy
at Dallas, home against the Texans, at the Broncos.
Wow, so we're gonna get to see the true colors. They just beat a good Eagles team. Despite having all those turnovers and not being able to punch the ball, and it's the one thing that scares me. Shout out to you on your first touchdown bet. But besides that offense, a little lackluster. They couldn't move the ball through the air against a true contender. Yeah, they got the win, so that's great to see. Shout out to their defense mainly. But the offense is going to have to show me more. You and I were touting that Herbert success at the beginning of the year, saying they were going to be contenders. He could be in the MVP race when he is that healthy with the weapons of Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnson, Trey Harris, Gadsden, McConkey, Hampton, Vidal looking good too. I mean, Harbaugh calling the plays with Roman. I mean, what more do you want there? I just want to see some more success offensively.
I think the way the wild card teams are shaping up, say if the division winners stay as is with the Broncos, Patriots, Jaguars, Steelers, just you looking off the wild card teams right now, I think if the Chargers were to finish 6th, I'd take them to beat the Jaguars in that game.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting one. That'd be a crazy game with Jaguars. Both those teams are really weird in the playoffs, though. I mean, can you trust either one? You know what though? Do you go with the old school Harbaugh coaching, or do you go with Liam Cohen? That guy's just been dynamite ever since he's come into the
Travis
league.
Etienne looks awesome.
Yeah, I know. The reemergence of him has been really nice to see. Jacoby Myers, what a trade that was. I mean, everybody's so worried about BTJ. Then you lose Travis Hunter, and Jacoby Myers is just Mr. Solid. He comes in wherever he goes. He's just a great receiver, great target. Finds the end zone a lot, too. But talking about one more point I just want to bring up before we get into our games this week for the power rankings. Week 15, and we don't have the Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Baltimore Ravens. Who could have seen that coming? All 4 of those teams missing the top 5. Crazy.
Who do you think of the wildcard teams in the AFC?
Who's going to end up a wildcard team? I think the Chargers definitely get there. I think the Bills definitely get there. That 7 seed's a question mark, though. I personally think
you don't think the Colts are going to get in over the Texans?
I think the Texans are going to take their division.
Okay.
I think the Texans take their division, and it's going to be a fight between the Jaguars, the Colts, the Chiefs, maybe. I don't think the Dolphins are.
I mean, the Steelers or Ravens have to win that division now.
Yeah, I think the AFC North is only a division. They're not getting a wild card.
They're not going. Yeah, there's no. I don't even think they can.
I think it's between those 2 NFC South teams, and if somehow the Chiefs can get some fluke magic and win out. But I think the Chargers and the Bills are locked in as a 5 and 6, however you see it. Yeah. And then
the Texans are getting in.
Do you have the Texans division?
The Texans are getting in. Listen to this. This weekend, home against the Cardinals. Next weekend, home against the Raiders. Week after, at the Chargers. That's a tough game. Last game, week 18, home against the Colts.
Yeah, and I think they take that division. Like I said, we said the Colts division or schedule is tough. The Jaguars, I don't think they can hold on for their division, but I think they grab that 7th playoff spot. If you had to ask me today, we go Jaguars as the 7th seed. But those Chiefs and Colts don't count them out.
Jaguars scheduled to finish this weekend against the Jets, at the Broncos, home against the Colts, home against the Titans. I think they have 2 wins in there too.
That Colts game is massive. That's the big thing.
Yeah,
that will determine that last playoff.
If they go 3-1, they're going to win the division.
Yeah, I think so too. That's going to be fun to watch. But this game this week going to be implications all across the board. AFC very, very interesting. Just without all those top teams in the mix. And then one more point. What about the Cowboys creeping up on those Eagles? Just a few weeks ago, the Eagles were 8-2, Huff, up 21-0 on the Dallas Cowboys, and it's been downhill ever since. So just something crazy to see.
Eagles have a pretty friendly schedule the rest of the way. They just have to deal with the Bills.
The Redskins twice. I mean, they're getting in. I think they're winning their division, but I've seen crazier things happen.
I think Mackey's Cowboys did a little too much damage a little too early.
Yeah, that's the way it goes for those Cowboys. A lot of heartbreak in that team.
Alrighty, boys, let's jump into our Week 14 recap here. Week 14 of 2025 NFL season began with an offensive shootout between the Cowboys and the Lions. Detroit ended Thursday night on top, led by 3 touchdowns from running back Jahmyr Gibbs. In the early window on Sunday, multiple starting quarterbacks exited early due to injuries. Indianapolis quarterback Daniel Jones left the team's loss to the Jaguars in the first quarter with an Achilles injury, while Washington's Jaden Daniels exited in the third quarter of a shutout loss to the Vikings with an elbow injury. In Atlanta, the Seahawks kept the Falcons out of the end zone in a dominant win. The Dolphins easily handled the Jets, while the Titans squeaked out a win over the Browns, and the Saints stunned the Bucs. In Buffalo, the Bills made big defensive plays in the fourth quarter to come back against the Bengals, and the Steelers took sole possession of the AFC North lead with a close win over the Ravens. In the late window, the Broncos secured a season sweep over the Raiders. Meanwhile, the Rams blew out the Cardinals in their first matchup of the season as AFC West foes. And in the last of 3 matchups for the first place in their respective division, the Packers picked off Bears quarterback Caleb Williams' pass in the end zone to seal the win. In Kansas City, the Chiefs' playoff hopes diminished as the Texans' top-ranked defensive shutdown Patrick Mahomes and company, giving Kansas City 6-7 its worst record through 13 games since 2012. 8-9. Monday Night Football ended with an overtime win for the Chargers, defeating the visiting Philadelphia Eagles. Well, let's jump into Thursday Night Football here for Week 15. The Falcons and the Bucs. The Bucs are the favorite here at home. 4.5 points for them. Their money line at -225. The Falcons at +185. The total sitting at 44. What do you guys think about this one? Thursday Night Football.
Huff, you feeling your boy Kirk Cousins again?
No, absolutely not.
That's crazy. It took him last week. No Drake London, no Michael Penix, no problem.
That Falcons +7 pick was buried so fast in all those first touchdown hits. I was like,
nope.
No, didn't even happen.
Yeah, Kirk, no more swag down there. Bijan Robinson fumbled too. That defense that has no big names on it that was once playing.
I was
very
playing
well.
Bijan in the semifinals in fantasy, and I was hype
fumble
every
helped
time
you.
he kept fucking up. Like he didn't have a big game at all.
No,
I mean,
he had
no
some
one
big.
did.
His biggest run, he ended up fumbling on. That team's just dead in the water. I think Drake London's out again on the short week this week. The Bucs are looking to maintain that division. They're not even playing that good of football. Coming off of a loss last week, a shocking loss to the New Orleans Saints. That was absolutely nuts. They have Bucky Irving back, Rashad White, Sean Tucker, Jalen McMillan. I think they're opening up his practice window. That'd be nice to get back too, alongside Emeka Egbuka, who dropped that touchdown to tie the game. I don't know if you saw that one last week. Wide open, Baker hits him in the hands in the fourth quarter.
I didn't see the play, but I saw people kind of roasting him on Twitter.
It was a little overthrown, but hits you in the hands. He was making those catches earlier in the year. Baker Mayfield, you got to get back on track. Maybe that defense starts playing good football too. You got to have a lot of turnovers against this weak Falcons defense. And with their run defense led by Vita Vea, I think they can shut down Bijan and LJR. I'm taking the Bucs here this week to cover whatever number you give them. I think they are going to win this division. I think the Panthers are pesky. And Bryce Young and Co. living up to the hype that you and I put around them. We said they were going to have a good season. I took their over 6.5 wins, which is looking nice. But I think this is the Bucs division to win, and I think that starts the win here on Thursday Night Football this week.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Bucs will handle business here. My favorite play in this one's probably a Bucky Irving touchdown. He's sitting at +120. I love that. I took him last week. I think he was +105 to see the little jump in the odds. I'll take that against a Falcons defense that, they've been.
We played strong. They're just not that good.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm not big on. I'm going to take Bucky to get in the end zone. I think the Bucs will also win the game.
You know who has been producing very well with Kirk Cousins at the helm? Maybe it's because London's out too, is Kyle Pitts. I had his reception props on it early in the year, but without a go-to target, I think Pitts has had a quietly solid year, much more consistent than we expected. I think he's still young. He's going to keep coming along. But, yeah, the Falcons are dead to rights. When you lost Penix and now that London's out too, there's no hope in that locker room. They're on to next year. Pack it up.
Alrighty, moving into Sunday here, 1 o'clock slate. Ravens visiting the Bengals in Cincinnati. Ravens are the favorite here, 2.5 points. Their money line at -140. Bengals at +118. Total at 51.5. What do we think about this AFC North matchup?
I like Cincy here. I think the Ravens are dead. I just last game. I mean, they got fucked on so many calls. I thought that Isaiah Likely with touchdown was a touchdown. Late in that game against
I don't think
Steelers.
so.
You don't think?
In slow-mo, it looks like one.
Yeah. I know what you mean, but I mean, obviously they call it no touchdown. You can't go back. I mean, last year the Ravens had all those calls. The Isaiah Likely on the
goal line,
on the goal line,
Thanksgiving,
or on the back
against
of the end zone.
Thanksgiving against the Bengals last time they matched up, Likely fumbling into the end zone. Zay Flowers on the push off. We just saw this matchup a few weeks ago. It was against Joe Flacco. so it was a little bit different. Or no, it was Joe Burrow's
It was
first game back.
Burrow's first game
Yeah,
back on
first game.
Thanksgiving.
But I think T. Higgins is still out this week now. That's going to be a
He
big one. He
is.
just played last week, and now he's out. Jamar Chase is going to
I
absolutely
think he's
live it
listed
up.
as questionable. I don't think he's out yet.
I don't think he's going to play, though. I've seen a lot of people talking up Yossi Vosh. I like Mitch Tinsley on the outside, too.
I think the Bengals, they're playing in these games. I'm going to take them to beat the Ravens again. Plus 118 at home. It's tough for this to say they're going to, sweep the division series against the Ravens.
Bad.
But the Ravens, they don't look like they
Lamar's
have much
hurt.
life.
The thing is, Lamar's hurt.
That's what I mean. He's
last
not
few
himself
years,
right now.
They've needed him to be Superman the last few years, and I think it made people think that Ravens team is much better than it is. He was playing MVP caliber football. What does he have? 2 MVPs in the last 3 years. And the fact that he's playing injured and can't be the guy to carry them, they've been stymied on offense. I mean, besides Zay Flowers, who's pretty good, and Derrick Henry, who they don't give the ball to enough, which is crazy. I mean, he only gets 10 to 12 carries a game. He should be getting 20 plus easily. Who's a good playmaker out there? I think Mark Andrews is washed. Terrible contract extension, in my opinion. They give him 3 more years on good salary. Should be spending on that on your weak secondary. Isaiah Likely's good, but he has those weird plays, a lot of fumbles, drops.
He has a lot of plays that have cost the Ravens.
He's a great player, though. I think he's going to be good. He's still young.
Yeah.
He's more of a receiver than a tight end, truly. But that defense is the big thing for the Ravens. Can they actually step up? Can Lamar Jackson get right? We need a big Derrick Henry game. I think they stay in it. I think it's going to be a tight race between the Steelers and Ravens throughout. I think that this is a win this week. The Bengals shot themselves in the foot by fumbling away that game last week. I can't believe Burrow with the 2 interceptions late in the game to the Bills linemen. Ugly, ugly way to lose that game after playing so well. I am going to take the over here because both teams can't really stop much. I think Lamar is a little bit of a get-right game. How many times am I going to say this? Or maybe it's just going to be after the year if they end up missing the playoffs. They'll be like, he was injured. Like, we all knew it, and he just couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
But I don't see this Bengals team winning. You know what I keep seeing, too, is that the crazy odd scenario for the Bengals to win the division. It's like the Ravens and the Steelers that's like lose out. Like, that's not happening. Like, I don't think the Bengals are coming back with this division. I think they're dead after that loss last week to the Bills. I'm going to take the Ravens here this week. I think it's going to be a hard-fought game. I think there's going to be more points than we expect. After you got to think there's some vengeance, too, after that Thanksgiving game with how bad the Ravens played. And they were in it, too. Like, their defense actually looked pretty good. Burrow didn't do too much. I think they're splitting with them. I think they split on the season series.
Yeah.
Alrighty, keeping it moving here through the 1 o'clock slate. The Bills and the Patriots up next here in New England. Bills are the favorite here. Just 1 point for them. Money line at -115. Patriots money line at -105. Total at 49.5. Ace, what do your Patriots do at home here this week, week 15?
Yeah, you know what's awesome is they have the Patriots as underdogs once again this week at home, and I'm going to use the Stephon Diggs quote. You know what he said, Huff? He goes, good. We want to be the underdogs here this week. Live that mentality up, and that place is going to be absolutely rocking. You know what's even better? We're coming off the bye week, so we've been preparing for this Bills matchup week after week. Bills have been in hard-fought games just to maintain their wild card spot and a chance at the AFC East division. If we are able to lock up this home game this week, we can take the AFC's crown and lock it up this week here in week 15. Who would have thought we had been saying that before the year started, Huff? I was telling you 10 to 12 wins. I think you were saying 7 to 10. But I don't know. The sky's the limit here. We still have the Jets and the Dolphins on the schedule down the line. The Ravens, which got flexed to the primetime game in a couple weeks. But this Bills matchup at 1 o'clock is going to be absolutely nails. Without Will Campbell and Wilson on the O-line here this week. I know they're both out on the IR. No Milton Williams in the middle. The stuff that James Cook run and stymie Josh Allen with the pressure like they did up in Buffalo a few weeks ago in the prime time. But I like the Patriots as underdogs here. I think they continue to play good football. That defense could not stop Drake May the last time they played, and he's gotten better and better throughout the years. But the big thing is Josh McDaniels and the way he is able to call a game and scheme it up. I think he's seen what this Bills defense has had, and honestly, they don't have too much. That's the one thing that surprised me is usually Sean McDermott has a strong group, but they've let so many people go over the years now that there's no one really scaring me on that side of the ball. I think that they don't have a prime receiving threat. I think Dalton Kincaid is a strong one, but the Patriots' run defense has been so strong. Cook can be neutralized. We'll look to shut down that Allen run. Maybe another Allen turnover with a strong secondary led by Gonzalez and Marcus Jones. The punt returning, too, has been absolutely insane by him. But I would take the Patriots here to lock up the division and put their stamp on their AFC East crown and show these Bills that we're a legit team and show the rest of the league, like, hey, we can beat the Bills twice a year. Give us our respect.
In the words of Lee Corso, not so fast, my friend. I don't think it's going to be that easy. I think the Bills
easy. I don't think it's going to be easy.
I think the Bills are favored in this spot for a reason. They're not going to give up the division in this early of a spot. The Bills know what's at stake here. They could get to 10-4. knock you guys to 11 and whatever they'd be, 11-3, 10-4. They're now a game back in the division or whatever the tiebreakers are. I don't know how it all comes down to, but I just don't see the Bills I can't see you guys take them down twice in the season. For your sake, I hope I'm wrong. I just don't think that's how it's going to go. I think you guys split the division or the divisional series 1-1. You guys will fall to what, 11-3? Who do you have the rest of the year? I think you have the
Jets,
Bills,
the Dolphins, and the Ravens.
the Ravens. You have what, 3 games left?
Yeah, after that one.
Okay. Yeah. I say the Bills here. I don't know if I'm gonna bet this because I think it's gonna be a good game. Probably a high scoring game. It's gonna be a great one. Well.
Yeah.
But I think I just think divisionals even up the series. I think the Bills take this one.
You know what's tough though is the Bills' offense, man.
They're scoring so many points. It's gonna be interesting to see how that defense comes up.
It was off of. Look at what they did against the Bengals last week. It was because of those turnovers late. They were at like 20 points going into that late in the fourth quarter. They were trailing by double digits with 8 minutes left against a weak Bengals team that we handled. I just don't see how they're able to get the pass game going. We have a good secondary, and their receiving options and their defense are the 2 big things this year for the Bills that aren't making me as confident. Also, what about the Josh Allen turnover bug? It's come back a little bit this year, and people have been talking about it too much. And if we can neutralize that run game with Cook and Allen with the strong run defense that we have, I don't know. It's going to be tough. How can you slow down Drake May? That's one thing a lot of the league has yet to figure out is how to slow down Drake May. But they're going to be setting that pressure without our O-line fully healthy this week, so we'll have to see. Look for another big Diggs game. I think I'm going to have to go with his receptions.
That's what I wanted to add. Is I do think he gets his revenge on Buffalo. I think he'll probably get in the end zone.
Yeah, he absolutely eats. You see those pump up speeches he's given. He loves the spot that he has on this team as the veteran guy. Going to be a great game. The fact this is in the 1:00 slate is going to be really fun to watch.
Alrighty, next game up here: Washington Commanders and the New York Giants in New York. Or East Rutherford, New Jersey. The Giants are the favorite here, 2.5 points for them. Their money line at -135. Commanders at +115. Total at 47. What do you guys think about this one?
Ugh, terrible game.
Why did they rush Jaden Daniels back last week? Are they trying to make him RG3?
Yeah, I don't know what. Probably. I feel like that's just what that organization does. It's looking like he's not gonna play it to the end of the year. Mariota hasn't looked bad under center.
Yeah.
You won't see a bet on this game from me. That's all I can tell you.
I'll tell you what though, that defense is really strong. I mean, personnel wise for the Giants, as long as they're not watching explicit content in the locker room like Abdul Carter. But you still have Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, and Sexy Dexy. You know, so I think that defense is gonna be strong enough. And Jackson Dart's good. He's just gotta protect himself. Like I'm a big Jackson Dart fan, but buddy, slide and get out of bounds, or else you're not gonna have a long time in this league. With Mariota at the helm. That receiving core is weak. Is this one of the worst rosters on paper, that Redskins team? They have to revamp it completely because it was strong last year. Now the receiving options are out. Zach Ertz is out now too. McLaurin, has he even played this year really? Debo is a number 2 and he's been the number 1. They have no run game.
Yeah.
Give me the Giants here. Jackson Dart's going to do enough to win, which is going to hurt their playoff or their draft stock too.
Giants always do that. Yeah, the Giants will win this game. They love fucking up their own draft pick.
They're in the number 1 spot right now though.
Yeah, they'll win this game then.
Yeah, Jackson Dart for sure. 2.5, easy cover. He's going to run one in too.
Alrighty, another 1:00 one here. Cleveland Browns in the Chicago Bears in Chicago. The Bears are the favorite here. 7.5 points for them. The total at 39. What happens in this one? 9-4 Bears, 3-10 Browns.
Shedeur Sanders is starting this game. That's what you need to know. The rest of the way he's starting for the Browns, despite Kevin Stefanski's thoughts on that. But it's got to be the Bears. Bounce back spot, right?
I kind of like the Browns +7.5. I think the defense is able to kind of give Caleb a couple, tough drives, keep them in this game. Yeah, that's what I mean. I think 7.5, and it's supposed to be fucking freezing in this game. Jesse, can you look at the weather in Chicago for Sunday? I saw it could be like -20 wind chill. I'm going to take the dog to hang around and stay in this one. Getting a touchdown.
Cover, but not win, right?
Yeah, there's no shot they win this game. Browns are going to be in this at 7.5.
Yeah, Shedeur loves playing close games, and I think he's going to be successful. What do you have, 364 total yards last week? 4 total touchdowns? Way to be, Shedeur. Love to see him cementing himself as a face in this league and showing he should have been drafted much higher. It's him and Cam Ward, and he almost beat him.
I just can't wait for him to pull Baker Mayfield and leave there and go somewhere else so I can like him a little more.
Yeah, weather in Chicago is a high of 12, low of 3 on Sunday.
The wind chill said it's going to feel like -20 or something.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though. You know what's looked really good in this Ben Johnson offense is the run scheme game that they've had. Monangai and DeAndre Swift have been getting some great runs, led by the play designs to open up big holes. We've seen Colston Loveland kind of come about, too. That's nice to see. They have some guys with a lot of interceptions this year on that other side. So, Shedeur, I think he is going to throw another pick this week. I think he's throwing one in almost every game this year they started. Just too many weapons for the Bears. I think they put up too many points. I think Caleb does turn the ball over as well. Maybe an interception for both quarterbacks here. I think both running backs find the end zone for the Bears, and they rush for over 150 total. Look for Judkins to have a strong game on the ground, but if I'm the Bears, that's the one thing I'm neutralizing is Quinshon Judkins. Make sure he doesn't beat you because he is a game breaker. Let Shedeur do it through the air, but I don't think he's going to have enough. I know that defense is strong. Look for Garrett to have a few more sacks to add to his legendary season, but I've got the Bears here this week in a bounce-back spot. They're making the playoffs this season.
Yeah.
Alrighty, another 1 o'clock matchup here. Chargers and Chiefs here in Kansas City. Chiefs are the favorite, 5.5 points for them. The total sitting at 41.5. What do we think happens in this 1 o'clock matchup?
Tough spot. I mean, the Herbert Mahomes games always go crazy. They're usually a one-score game, right?
Yeah, I'm taking the Chargers plus 5.5. I don't know how you're getting 5.5 points.
They're always it's always 4.5 or 5.5.
I don't know how you're getting 5.5 points with this Chargers team right now in Kansas City, I guess, because everyone's still on this Chiefs team.
Public
This could be nail in the coffin. Chargers end their season.
Yeah, and they have a good spot to do it.
I would not be shocked if the Chargers win this game.
You know what, though? The way they looked last week of not putting points on the board, I know Mahomes had 3 interceptions last week. That's uncharacteristic, and they were unforced by his teammates. I think that the Chiefs' defense is going to present an issue for Justin Herbert. This is going to be telling for Justin Herbert if he can be successful against this defense. Because
I'm big on Herbert. I have faith in him in this game. This could be a win. I'm going to take 5.5.
Yeah, I like that line of 5.5. I do think the Chiefs do win this game. I mean, they have to bounce back with Mahomes, right? And the way the defense was playing was lights out. Questionable coaching decisions by Andy Reid. I think if he punted the ball and trusted his defense all game, they win that game against the Texans, and they stay in the spot. But instead, they gift them free points to lose the game in a tie game in their own territory. That was just craziness. Travis Kelce, you got to hold on to the ball. Rashee Rice, you got to catch the ball. Kareem Hunt, you got to catch the ball. Somebody has to catch the ball on this team. Tyquan Thornton, I mean, Mahomes is playing through that knee injury. He's rushing for 70 yards. But I'll tell you what, the real reason this Chiefs team isn't good is because they have no O-line. They're all injured, running UDFAs out there. Also, they have no run game all year. It's been Mahomes by himself, and that's why he's so banged up. You can't be running an offense with Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt as your lead backs in 2025. Look for some big changes to come in the offseason. I've got the Chiefs here on the money line, but 5.5, love that for the Chargers here. I'm going to say it's like a 23-20 game by the Chiefs.
I say like 23-19, like a weird score.
I was thinking 19 too, but I'm like, it's such a weird number, but I can see it happening.
4 field goals by Dicker and a touchdown by Hampton or Keenan Allen or McConkey.
A weird one by Gadsden or Vidal. But you know who looks like an absolute stud still is Chris Jones. I mean, that guy's nuts.
I think there's 2 players on the Chiefs they should consider keeping, him and Mahomes.
Yeah, that's about it. Other than that, Rashee Rice is really good.
Rashee Rice is going to have such a hard fall off, like a cliff. Like he might be the kind of guy you move on a year too early from, rather than a year too late.
We'll see. I think he is great, but he has a lot of pressure.
He's good. Like I think he's really good, but like, is he ever going to be a top whatever receiver?
We'll see if he can ever play a full game in a full season. Maybe we can get that indication. But I've yet to see it. Crazy. Come on, LGR.
Shorty.
Weird.
Alrighty, these next 3 1 o'clock games are definitely the gauntlet of the week here. Raiders and Eagles get us started here in Philadelphia. The Eagles are the favorite, 11.5 points for them. The total at 39. Do they cover 11.5? What do you guys think?
No Geno Smith. You see that?
Kenny Pickett's playing in this game?
Yeah, I believe Geno Smith is not expected to start.
I'll take the Eagles minus 11.5.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that defense is they could pitch a shutout in this game.
This could be the kind of game. Their defense looked really good last game. The Raiders' offense sucks. You just take Gentry out of this game, and the Raiders they have nothing to beat you.
Bowers is pretty good too.
Yeah, but Eagles will win this by 12.
Yeah, I think they could win by 3 touchdowns here.
This could be 31-7.
It's a get-right spot for Jalen Hurts coming off that 4 interception performance. The secondary is one of the weakest in the leagues. They're not going to be able to cover A.J. Brown. Maybe get Devontae Smith going, Dallas Goedert. Saquon Barkley's close to hitting his incentives, and he had that big touchdown run last week. That'll be nice to see.
I said 31-7. I didn't even realize the total said exactly 38. That was crazy.
That's funny. I think they score 4 offensive touchdowns and kick a field goal, so that's 31. Yeah, you just said 31, right?
31-7, yeah.
31-3, maybe 3.
Yeah.
Like if they're lucky. But Yeah, I think the one
I don't
consistent
know.
all year is
Any fake slide might get them one drive. A scripted drive out of the half, they might be able to get something going.
the one thing that's been a constant for the Eagles all year is that defense. I mean, we saw what they've done in the primetime every time. That's the reason they're in games. They're turning the ball over 4 times and staying in football games.
Bowers, if Pickett just does what he can do,
Well, this is a great matchup for Bowers. The linebacking core of the Eagles is great. The Eagles, like, how is Pickett going to move the ball downfield? That secondary, Justin Herbert couldn't throw against them, really.
yeah.
It's going to be crazy. The Eagles are going to demolish
You're making me scared to start Bowers in fantasy this week. I'm in my championship. I have Bowers or Warren. They both have terrible quarterback situations.
Oof. No, I think both of them are going to see a lot of targets. I think Phil Rivers is going to target him pretty early and often, and it's going to be a nice little check down for him.
Fuck, do I go Warren? Fuck.
You can't put one in the flex? I mean, I like both of them.
My flexes are still. I have CeeDee Lamb, Devontae, and Nakua.
Devontae Adams, not Devontae Smith, right?
Yeah.
In Nakua. Yeah.
I can't sit any of those guys.
Oh, it's such a tough call because you got to think Pickett feeds Bowers, but you got to think the Eagles.
They're both gonna. I don't know. That's scary.
I'd probably go with Tyler Warren, but it's so unknown.
I think that's who I have in there right now, but I don't know.
Yeah, because they're gonna key on Bowers at least in the
last week. I went with Warren, and when Daniel Jones went out of the game, I was fucked immediately with Riley Leonard.
Yeah, so you got to be happy that Philly the Rave is back in the mix. But yeah, I'd go there. Eagles by a lot.
Alrighty, jumping into this next one here. Jets and Jags in Jacksonville. The Jaguars are the favorite here. Biggest spread of the week, 13.5 points. Total sitting at 41.5. What do you guys think about this one?
Jaguars win this game. Liam Cohen's got them rolling. Look for ETN to have a multi-touchdown game. If not, then it's going to be 2-2. They like getting him some looks. Jacoby Myers, absolute dynamite. That defense for the Jaguars is actually pretty strong. Kim Little probably going to hit a 50-plus yarder. That's a nice little prop if you can throw that in there. T. Law's looking strong, but who's even playing quarterback for the Jets this week? Because I believe Tyrod Taylor lost the starting job via injury and poor play last week. We know Justin Fields is still out. Let me see who it is this week. Yeah, Tyrod Taylor is questionable, and he hasn't practiced yet this week. Brady Cook.
Oh, Christ.
Brady Cookhoff. Is he beating the Jaguars this week?
Good. I'll take under 41.5.
Yeah, it's not a bad play.
Like that.
Unless he starts turning the ball over, and then you're screwed.
Then you get scared. Yeah.
Yeah, which he very well could. Last week, Brady Cook, he stepped into the game. He threw for 160 yards. He threw 2 picks off.
Okay. Good.
So, Jaguars. Here's his update. He struggled in relief. He dressed as the backup, undrafted out of Missouri, and he's thrown to Adonai Mitchell and John Mechie. I don't know. That was his debut last week.
A tough debut to make.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go with them to not do very much in the Jaguars to have a nice win.
Lay the minus 1,000 with the Jaguars. They'll win that game.
They're winning
That's a guaranteed win.
Maybe a little tease action, get some more points.
As Big Cat always says, that's a guaranteed win, or the rest of my picks are free for the rest of the year.
Eagles, Raiders, Texans, minus 207. I'll lay. That's worth laying juice on. I don't see any of those teams lose.
Yeah, not a bad play at all.
That'll be the 5th leg of the parlay this week. All right. Anyways, last 1:00 game here. Cardinals, Texans, last game of the gauntlet here. Texans 9.5 point favorites at home. Total at 42.5. Do the Texans cover 9.5? What do you guys think?
Yeah. Cardinals are pesky.
They're a good garbage time team. Jacoby Brissett, didn't he set a record for most passes attempted? Michael Wilson, wide receiver 1 week in and week out. But no, that weak O-line's not going to be able to do much. And the fact that they have no run game and a good secondary, you know what looked great for the Texans the other day is Jalen Petrie, that safety, with the Guardian cap on. Buddy, you're way too good to be wearing a Guardian cap. But, yeah, he was absolute nails. He lit up Rashee Rice, clamped up Travis Kelce. Hunter and Anderson are going to be all over Jacoby Brissett here. Michael Wilson and Trey McBride aren't going to be enough with Bam Knight in the mix there. I like the Texans to get the job done. Maybe this is a nice spot for C.J. Stroud to get the offense really, really rolling. Woody Marks, I think he's a good rookie. He's, not too much talked about coming in the year. Nick Chubb left the game last week. Him and Darrow bung away. And you got a lot of good receivers on the outside alongside Nico Collins. Collins is starting to heat up again ever since Davis Mills took over. Stroud's been finding him too. Yeah, good coaching out there. I like the Texans to cover this one. I do. Jacoby Brissett, you might want to watch out for that backdoor cover. Huff, maybe we go with the first half line for the Texans here. Might be a better play.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. I Texans will probably cover the 9.5, but I'm probably not going to bet it.
You know, it's nice to see for these Texans, their secondary receiving options are coming about. Higgins is getting more involved. Hutchinson, Schultz has looked good all year long. We know how solid he is. And like I said, Marks is starting to put his imprint on this offense too. So this team's strong with the number one defense in the league. I'm going to take them here to cover with that. I don't think they're going to give up many points this week. A lot of turnovers and sacks too.
Yeah. Alrighty, moving into our 4 o'clock games here. Packers and Broncos. Broncos at home here, but the Packers are the favorite here. 2.5 points for them. Their money line at -130. Broncos at +110. The total sitting at 42.5. What do we think happen? What do we think happen? What do we think happens in our first 4 o'clock game this week?
It's gonna be a great game.
This is the second best game that we've talked about.
This and the next game are both great. We get 2 great 4 o'clock games this week. This tough spot, I think, for the Packers to come into. I'm leaning right now towards Denver. I wouldn't be surprised if I jump ship on this one, but
the Broncos win games, but they aren't good.
That's what I mean. Like they're gonna they're gonna eke another one out here. I even would advise taking them 2.5 because they love losing or being in these close games.
Losing by 1.
I could see them not come out on this one, or lose by 1. I'll take the Broncos plus the 2.5. I could jump ship on this one. Not super confident in it. I could see this game go either way.
Yeah, I mean, this Packers team's been going absolutely nuts. You got to remember, Huff, it's Toyotathon, and Jordan Love is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL history during Toyotathon.
It's such a hard place to play. It's probably going to be freezing in Denver.
What, though? Christian Watson's been absolutely nails, and Patrick Surtain's really good, but how do you cover Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed's back in the mix, Matthew Golden? I know Tucker Kraft's out, but Josh Jacobs and Emmanuel Wilson's a good duo.
Like Broncos defense they've had the answers for other teams. What makes you think they can't do it for them?
But this is a strong matchup. They have had light opponents the last few weeks, and they've been barely scraping by. I think they lose one here to tighten up that AFC West. The Packers are pushing for the playoffs. They need these wins more than the Broncos do, in my opinion. Who's a better quarterback, Jordan Love or Bo Nix? I think Jordan Love is. I personally do.
Yeah.
I think Matt LaFleur.
I don't think many people would say Bo Nix there.
I don't know. Bo Nix won a lot of games since he's been in the league, though. He hasn't lost too many.
I think he's in such a perfect scenario with Sean Payton loves him.
He's a great runner, though. He's getting smarter with his passes. He's making something out of nothing. He's got guys like Troy Franklin and R.J. Harvey coming along. His only true target is
Harvey's a stud.
Sutton. Yeah, I mean, Jordan Love has a lot more to work with. But that Packers defense, we're talking about how good this Broncos defense is. Remember at the beginning of the year, this Packers defense is one of them, too. A lot of people had this Packers team as a Super Bowl pick. And because of that, I think they're playing so strong. I'm going to take them to win this week. I'll take them to cover as well. Give me the Packers. They're going to push for that division lead.
Alrighty, like Huff said, we got another good 4 o'clock matchup here. Lions and Rams here in LA. The Rams are the favorite here, 5.5 points for them. The total sitting at 55.5, high total.
The new highest total of the NFL season. The previous one was Cowboys Lions a couple weeks ago.
Cowboys Lions. Yeah, you want to hear something crazy? You know how off of the Dan Campbell boys I am. I'm taking the Lions on the money line here. I think that they're going to put up a lot of points here this week. They're going to force some turnovers. They're going to turn some heads. I think this Rams team's been reeling with the turnovers they've been putting up the last few weeks. I know that their offense is really great with a two-headed monster at running back, two-headed monster at wide receiver, MVP hopeful in Matthew Stafford. Their defense is strong, but I don't think they're going to be able to contain Waymo. They're not going to be able to contain Amon-Ra St. Brown. Jameer Gibbs is looking like a top 3 running back in the NFL this season. David Montgomery right there with him. I think this is going to be a very good shootout. It's crazy. It's the highest total, or one of the highest totals you said.
It's the highest total of the season. I think I said of ever. It's
50.5.
55.5.
I got it right here at 50.5 on ESPN. So I guess you got to shop around.
50?
Yeah, 50.5 right here. Yeah.
I like 55.5.
Yeah, I think it's gonna go over either way though. I
think it goes over. I think it's. I was gonna say that's my point. I think it's the highest total.
31-28. 31-28 Lions.
Yeah, I think both of these teams. I think the Rams win the game, but I'm not taking 5.5. I just think that offense is able to score at will. With Stafford going against his old team, Goff against his old team. I feel like this is more Stafford against his old team storyline. But I'm going to take the Rams at home. Cross-country trip for the Lions. Not really a huge position here, but
indoors though, which is great for Jared Goff.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm gonna take the Rams. I think they get the win. I think it goes over.
I think the Rams on the money line.
Score to like you said. I'm gonna say more like 30, 34, 30, 34, 27 kind of game.
Yeah, that's not a bad take. I like that score prediction. I think the over are both aligned on a lot of guys. I think this is a good anytime touchdown game, too. You can take Adams. You can take the running backs in there. I think Gibbs and Montgomery get in. Amon-Ra, maybe a Tesla one because that's a little weird one for you. But the one thing to remember, Huff, is this Lions team, they're pesky. They can put up points in a hurry, and if the Rams get into a hole, I'm eager to see if they can stick with it. But you think this is a good teaser opportunity here? You can get a lot of points for the Lions.
Yeah, you definitely can. I don't think they'll get blown out in this game.
You think would you take them double digits on that plus? I love that.
You'd get 5.5. You'd get them plus 11. Yeah, I would like.
I love that.
Yeah, tease the under down, or
Yeah.
tease the over down.
Yeah, go tease
get it at,
Lions and over. That's not a bad play at all, right there.
49.5.
That's a crazy one right there. Maybe we got to look into that.
Alrighty, boys, keeping it moving here. Panthers and Saints here, next 4 o'clock game in New Orleans. Panthers are the favorite here, 2.5 points. Their money line at minus 150. Saints at plus 125. The total sitting at 40.5. What do you guys think about this one?
I think the Panthers are going to get Tyler shucked this weekend.
You think?
I said I wasn't going to take the Saints. I've taken them a couple times. I picked them last week plus 8.5 against Tampa Bay. I'm going to take them again this week. I think they win this game down in New Orleans. They've looked decent with him under center.
Too much respect right now.
No, I'm not. They've looked good. You're giving the Panthers too much respect, is what I think it is.
Bryce Young is better than Tyler Shuck.
Yeah, for sure. But on the road, divisional matchup, this Panthers team isn't as good as everyone's deeming it to be. I think this is an ultimate letdown spot for the Panthers, who are in the conversation to win their division. Letdown spot. Panthers lose. Bucks end up winning this week. Bucks lock up that division. Pretty much lock it up.
I'm on the other side. Give me a Panthers-Bucks parlay this week. Bryce Young's look good. They have that two-headed monster in Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle. I think Rico Dowdle goes absolutely nuts through the air and ground this week. Look for him to post over 100 total yards and find pay dirt. Look for Tatorian McMillan to get back on his high horse and show why he's the best rookie receiver in the league above Amike Ibuka. I think Tyler Shuck's going to struggle. They've been staying in games because of inept play against them. I don't think it's to their own doing. I think 3 wins is a lot for them. I don't think they win too many more.
And Kamara's coming back too.
Yeah, I think that's worse almost. He has no juice in his legs and he's coming off injury. They brought in Devon Vile this year, who's looked pretty good alongside Chris Olave. So that's a nice little tandem they got at receiver. Juwan Johnson too. Yeah, I'm taking Bryce Young, though. I think both these teams stay tight in the NFC South. I think the Saints overachieved with a win last week. I don't see them stringing it together 2 in a row. This Panthers team is looking for something this year, and they're going to show it. Bryce Young, hopefully he can find some consistency. This has been his biggest problem this year is the inconsistent play, but I think against a weak Saints defense, he'll be able to hold his own. 2.5 is a friendly line, too. The books are respecting the Saints too much this week. I'm taking the Panthers to cover and win the game. Rico Dowdle, big game here this week.
I like Dowdle.
Yeah, he's good.
Alrighty, next one up here. The Titans and the 49ers in San Francisco. The 49ers are the favorite here. 12.5 points for them. The total at 44.5. What do you guys think about this one? Second to last 4 o'clock game.
I don't like the spread on this one. I don't really have a pick here. I think the 49ers will obviously win the game.
49ers are good.
Shouldn't be close, but yeah, you won't see me take the Titans plus 12 or the 49ers minus 12.
They're coming off the bye week too, which is massive, right? The 49ers. The Titans, I think they just had their Super Bowl last week. It was Cam Ward versus Shadur Sanders. They won it by 2 on a 2-point conversion stop at the end. That was the Tennessee Titans Super Bowl. Now they're tanking the rest of the way. The 49ers will win this game. 49ers a playoff team, Huff. They win this game. They're 9-4.
I don't know. The NFC's a tight race. I don't.
They get.
I'd have to look at their schedule. Like they're going to win this game, so they're going to be 10-4.
And then they have the Colts. Then they have the Bears and the Seahawks. They could be a playoff team.
I don't know. The Seahawks and Bears could be 2 losses, so they could be 2 wins, 2 losses, 11, and what would that be? 6. I don't think they're going to get in.
11-6. I think you get in the playoffs. I don't think all those NFC North teams are going to post 11
yeah,
wins.
Yeah, true. I guess, yeah. They'll probably be the 7th seed or 6 or 7 seed at 11-6 if they finish that far.
Yeah, I think the Niners have a big one this week. I like them coming off the bye. I think Shanahan's going to have the offense rolling. You know what? They get another week healthier, too. Kittle's going to go nuts. McCaffrey looks like one of the best players in the league. We don't say his name too much for how good he is. Another week for Brock Purdy to get healthy and shake some of those interception woes. One of the worst defenses in the league. Shadur Sanders just put up 4 touchdowns and 364 yards last week. How many points do you think that the Niners are going to put up this week? They win by a lot. I think they do cover. Tennessee, like I said, that was their Super Bowl last week. Cam Ward showing glimpses of being good. I like Eli Guyman. I like Chimere Dike on the outside too. Calvin Ridley, he didn't even play this year. Pollard had a big game last week, but he's going to get stymied against this Niners front. Even without Warner and Bosa, it's crazy how, what's his name? Robert Saleh has that defense playing up. It's a lot of those young guys. I mean, a great offensive mind in Shanahan with so much skill on that side, and then a great defensive mind, solid. It's going to be a complete game right here. I think they're going to be a playoff team, and this is going to start with a win this week, and they're flying under the radar. Watch out for that Niners team.
Bedard just buried.
Yeah, I saw that.
Alrighty, moving into our final 4 o'clock matchup here. Colts and Seahawks here in Seattle. The Seahawks are the favorite here. 13.5 points for them. Their total at 42.5. What happens in this one here? Colts
Hold on,
season on the line.
I wanted to say this before we touch on this game. The fact that the NHL allows teams to both wear dark jerseys now is like the best thing that's ever happened to the NHL uniforms. Like this looks sick. The red
colored-
Blackhawks versus
colored-
the blue Rangers, colored. Both of them wearing colored
this is a
jerseys.
throwback or centennial type night, right?
Yeah.
Something crazy.
Sorry, we can go on this game. Colts, Seahawks. I'm not buying the Phillip Rivers hype. I don't think the Colts are going to be in this game. I think if it's going to be there for Phillip Rivers, it's going to be another week or so. You know, he's just got to practice today. This game, tough environment up there with the 12s in Seattle. I wouldn't be shocked to see them cover this number. I probably won't bet it, but, you know, JSN will probably get in. Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet, however you want to bet the running backs. I try to avoid them, but I think the Seahawks team gets the win and probably rolls.
Yeah, I mean, the Seahawks team versus this Colts team, this is such a tough matchup. I think the Seahawks are one of the strongest teams in the league. But it's going to be a lot tougher than you think, Huck. This Colts team is fighting for their playoff lives, and I think they're going to get a spark out of Phillip Rivers. The tough thing is, it's his first game back. I don't think he wins his first game coming into the mix. Unless Jonathan Taylor has one of those Jonathan Taylor-type games. How many hat tricks does he have this year? Plenty. Tyler Warren's strong. Michael Pittman's strong. The weapons that Rivers has is good. The defense is pretty strong. They're on the road this week. I am not touching this game. I think it's going to be one of the closest ones throughout. Look for Walker and Charbonnet to be strong. JSN, I think my favorite play will be JSN to go over 100 because he does it week in and week out. This is going to be the game that decides the offensive player of the year, in my opinion. Whoever's team comes out on top is going to be Jonathan Taylor or JSN is the best offensive player in the league, in my opinion.
Alrighty, that's going to wrap up our 4 o'clock slate here. Let's jump into Sunday Night Football. Vikings and Cowboys in Dallas.
9.
Cowboys are the favorites here. Here are 6 points for them. Their money line at -275. Vikings at +225. Total sitting at 47.5. What do we think happens in Sunday Night Football here this week, week 15?
Does the Mackey's boys get 9 on Sunday Night Football?
I'll tell you what, this game is going to be a lot closer than people think. And you want to know why, though? It's because the Vikings defense is really, really good, in my opinion. Van Ginkel, one of the most underrated players in the league. But 9, I know he looked a lot better last week through the air. He was pretty successful. And that Cowboys defense isn't too strong throughout the season, but they have a lot of pieces that people forget about now. They brought in Williams. They brought in Wilson.
Clark.
They got healthy. Clark at the beginning of the year. They got healthy with Overshown coming back. They got some of their corners back. So they can play a little bit stronger. I think 9 does throw a pick. I'll tell you what, I think Justin Jefferson is hitting the gritty this weekend. Finally get him the ball. He's been absolutely non-existent with this passing game that the Vikings have put together, whether it's Brosmer or 9. But Kevin O'Connell will get him involved in the offense this week. You get maybe a squeaky wheel treatment. Look for a big George Pickens game, especially the way that Richard Sherman, the rest of the media, was dragging him last week in the media. I'm looking for George Pickens to go absolutely nuts. Javonte Williams, he could have a tough day sledding. He's had a solid year, but Ferguson and Pickens are going to have big games. Hopefully Lamb is able to suit up for this one and get going. I think he's going to be after getting that concussion scare last week. Dak Prescott needs to have a strong game, though. Looked very weak last week, a lot of turnovers, and we didn't get what we expected. Need to see him turn it up a notch and keep them in that NFC East and potential playoff race, I guess. I'm taking the Cowboys to win, and I'm taking the under, surprisingly, but I'm taking big games by Pickens and Ferg, and I'm taking Justin Jefferson, some good value to get in the end zone.
Yeah, I like the Cowboys -6. I don't think it's going to be easy. I think it will be a kind of a game towards maybe halftime, whether that means Cowboys struggle with this Vikings defense early, the Vikings get some points going. But I think the Cowboys will cover the number. Is CeeDee Lamb out of concussion protocol? What's going on with that?
Yeah, I believe he's questionable. He hit his head on the ground in that end zone last week. Let me get an update here. You know what I think is going to have a big game, Huff, is going to be Brandon Aubrey. Because of that stymieing Minnesota defense, we know we can hit a field goal from anywhere. And I think he's going to have at least 2.5 field goals in this game. I think if you can take his prop, that's a good one to look at. Let me see Lamb right here. Lamb is questionable. He's limited Wednesday. Yeah, he's practicing. He's going to play this week. He's going to play this week.
Okay.
He has
I like Cowboys. I like Cowboys -6.
Yeah, I think it's going to be close, though. I'm going to say 23.
I think this is a good teaser opportunity. Tease the Cowboys with, if you like the lines, get them +11, get the Cowboys -0.5.
Yeah, it's not a bad one. The Vikings just scare me though, just because of that defense. But
I
I'm
just
gonna
don't
say
think the Vikings win this game. I
no.
could be this could be like the Cardinals spot where the Cardinals went in there or Dallas and won, but I think Cowboys know they're in the race now for this division. They need this game. I think they handle business.
You know what's weird is Josh Naylor's connection with JJ McCarthy. No Jordan Addison this week, so he should be pretty involved too. He probably has a low prop on reception line, so that's a good one to look at. They got Hawkinson, Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason too. So there's gonna be a lot of people there getting the ball, but I think Jefferson gets in. Like I said, I'm saying 23-16. Cowboys here this week, so that does cover your 6 as well. I think it's 3 field goals by Brandon Aubrey and 2 touchdowns, 1 to Pickens, 1 to Ferguson from Dak, and Javonte Williams has a tough day sledding against this Vikings defense. Give me Jefferson, and that's it. Jefferson, 3 field goals. Maybe 9 to run one in.
I love how you're committed to calling him that.
9. Alter ego. Hey, was that you or 9 that threw all those interceptions? Coach, actually the same guy. Oh, good. Great.
All righty, moving into Monday Night Football here. I'll be there. Huff will be there. Dolphins and Steelers in Pittsburgh. Steelers are the favorites here. 3.5 points for them. Their money line at -190. Dolphins at +155, and the total sitting at 42. What do we think happens in this one, Huff?
It's supposed to be 15 degrees at kickoff. I think it's gonna be
It's automatic for the Steelers thing.
It should be. But when the Steelers are supposed to win, they've been losing games. When they're supposed to lose, they go into Baltimore and win. I'm not confident in this, but I don't love 3.5. I'll buy it to 3. I think the Steelers will handle business here. I don't think this is the game that they fuck up. I think they'll win this game, go lose in Detroit next week. And then they finish against Cleveland, which I'm starting to get worried about Shedeur coming in here and maybe putting up a game, but or we end the season with Baltimore after that, but we do have Cleveland one more time as well. But I think we handle business this week, -3. I love a DK Metcalf touchdown, love a Jalen Warren touchdown. I think both of them get in. Jalen's been automatic. He's been, in the end zone the past few weeks. DK Metcalf with a huge game last week in Baltimore in a huge game. I think in the prime time, those guys show up. Give me a Warren touchdown. Give me a Metcalf touchdown on a Steelers -3 victory.
I'll tell you what, Huff, if this game was in South Florida, I think that I would be slamming the Miami Dolphins.
I would be more scared than I am right now. It's in Pittsburgh in the freezing cold on prime time.
Yeah. So like this Dolphins
That's the way this team is. Like when you think they're going to win, they lose.
Dolphins have been hot this stretch. They've gotten back into the playoff race somehow.
They silently came right back into the playoff race, and I mean they're only 6-7, but we're 7-6.
They need a lot to happen. They need a lot to happen.
We're in a lot different scenario than they are. They're not going to. They have no chance of winning their division.
Yeah, so they're right there. They've been one of the hottest teams. Devin Achane is one of the best players in the league, one of the best running backs in the league. He continuously finds the end zone. Tua's been playing good football. They've been putting up points left and right. All 3 of their running backs found the end zone last week, which is pretty cool. Their defense has been playing much stronger.
I'm worried about Achane, I can tell you that.
Yeah, and I know that I think he does score this week, but Mike McDaniel and Tua Tagovailoa in the cold weather is an automatic loss. These guys can't play there. He's not going to beat the allegations. Maybe a loss here and a bad performance is a nail in the coffin to get him out of there this season because he's kind of been slightly saving his job with all these wins they've had this week. But if he proves once again that he can't perform at all in these winter conditions,
makes this mediocre Steelers team look like a
if they can't score. The thing is, if the Dolphins can't score any points and they just get handled easily and are never in the game.
The defense gets like 3 turnovers off Tua.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to move on from Tua and McDaniels because you can't.
They just paid him so much money.
You can't not play in cold weather, though. It's the NFL. You have to be able to at least be competitive, and they've been an embarrassment when it gets to this spot. You know what else too?
If those uniforms, they need to go back to the classic Dolphins uniforms. It's that new uniform they wear. As soon as they play in cold weather, it just doesn't look right.
Huff, they need a new coach. We've been talking about your team getting a new coach and the Ravens. But the real thing is the Miami Dolphins need a real coach. Like,
I'd like the Dolphins to fire McDaniel, us to fire Arthur Smith, and he can come be our coordinator.
Yeah, coordinator, not a head coach. I don't want him as head coach. I don't think he's good enough to lead the charge and rally the troops. But if it was in South Florida, I also think this game would go over here easily too. I just think it's going to be a slower Steelers game. I don't know. I'm going to say like 19-10.
Yeah, I think it'll be an ugly cover, but they'll cover.
H.M. Warren, touchdown bets. Chris Boswell, a lot of field goals, maybe 3 of them, 3 or 4 of them. But yeah, 19-10, Steelers win.
It's going to be freezing. I like that score prediction.
Yeah, and I think that Tua turns the ball over twice.
So let's see what only because I have the correct score pulled up. Let's see what that would win you. Would you say 19-10? You wanted to get 19 in there after I said 19 for the one score.
I'm telling you, it's 1 touchdown and 4 field goals by Boswell, and it's a Warren touchdown.
Of course, I can't find 19 to 10. Let me see. 16,
Warren and Atrin are getting in the end zone. I'm telling you that.
16 to 10 is plus 15,000.
Wow. Imagine.
Let's see. 1914, 1960, 1917. Come on. Where the fuck is it? You
Should we
think they
throw
would
some
in
coin?
order?
Just throw a coin on it. Literally a coin. That's it. One coin. Maybe a $2 coin.
What was it? 19 what?
10.
1910, he said. I can't find. That's not an option.
Yeah, it's not an option.
Oh, good. They don't. That's because they know it's
They
going to
never
happen.
get hit.
Yeah.
1913 is the closest thing you can get to that, and that's plus 15,000.
Yeah, I don't think they can do that much though.
That would be $5 to win. It won't let me type it in.
What's the plus?
15,000.
So it'd be
It'd
like
be $1 to win. What?
500, 750. $5 to win 750.
Yeah, it'd be $1 to win $150.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Not too bad. But I think it's gonna be a slow, sloppy game. A little vintage Steelers here. Get you a nice win, and hopefully the Ravens can win because you're gonna get some pressure on. If you can't, it's gonna be a good one this week. Like I said, Dolphins can't play in cold weather, so no chance that the Steelers lose this one, in my opinion.
I'm nervous.
Yeah, lots of good stuff here this week, boys. Make sure to stay tuned for our picks. Anything else to add before we get out of here?
I think that's it. Good week in the NFL. Look out for our picks coming Sunday. Live stream on Sunday as well for Week 15. Crazy to think we're already in Week 15 talking playoffs, but NFL season, we're already in the rearview mirror as we're coming towards the playoff picture. But stay tuned Sunday for our top 5 games in Week 15 and all of our picks. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.
One more thing. Drake May. That's all you need to know. Drake May.
You should have got one of those jerseys.
Yeah, one day he'll come. Got to win some games first, playoff games.
No, I mean, do you see the one that Fanatics did with the? They literally wrote that on the back of the jersey. It says Drake, May, and the middle's in quotation marks.
Maybe a T-shirt. We'll see. Win a playoff game, and I'll get you merch. I already have one T-shirt. That's enough for now.
Alrighty, see you guys next week.